Number 9. If I get a brain aneurysm as the result of this review, can I hold the filmmakers responsible? At this point, I realize who the Phantom Menace is. No, it's not Jorge. It's Qui-Gon Jinn. His character is totally baffling to me, and I do not know why he's in this movie. If you ask me, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi should have been combined to form a new character, called Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan should have been the younger, eager, adventurous Jedi who found Anakin, formed a bond with him, and then really wanted to train him in the Jedi arts when Yoda told him no. Instead, Obi-Wan, who seemed totally irritated with Anakin the whole movie, suddenly wants to train him at the end, only because Qui-Gon said to.
I gave Qui-Gon my word.
If they did have to have Qui-Gon, they should have had him on the ship, just like meditating the whole movie, and saying very little, and just being wise. Then when Qui-Gon dies, Obi-Wan is left to move on without an older, wiser voice of reason, thus setting the stage for a poorly trained Anakin.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
Yeah, George, that's true. But the only thing poetic here is that I was vomiting in stanzas. I don't even know what that means. So for no reason, Obi-Wan is the one who does not want to defy the Council. He's not a risk-taker, and he complains all the time like a woman.
We could be stuck here a very long time.
Then the older, wiser Jedi is the opposite of what he should be. Let's break down Qui-Gon, all the way to his midichlorians. Number 1, he has very questionable moral values. Qui-Gon Jinn repeatedly uses his Jedi mind trick to his advantage, whether it's to get Boss Nass to give him a bongo, which they completely trash, to use worthless money to scam Watto out of his ship parts,
credits will do fine,
or to fix a legitimate bet to his advantage. It's generally wrong to do these things, wouldn't you say? You can argue that the ends justify the means, but if that's the case, then why didn't Qui-Gon just steal the part from Watto? He could sneak in the middle of the night and just take the part. Or take it by force. And I don't mean that kind of force. I mean choke Watto while Padme grabs the part and they run out of the shop. Basically, it's the same as trying to trick him into accepting a worthless currency for the part. In the end, Watto's just out of the part. This also leads me to believe that Qui-Gon Jinn is incredibly stupid. He could have just went to another junk dealer and used his Jedi mind trick to swap out the Republic credits for money that Watto would take. In fact, when they arrive in town, he says,
"We'll try one of the smaller dealers."
Smaller dealers? Well, that implies there's larger ones. Watto tells him he's the only guy in town who's got the part.
And no one else has a T-14 hyperdrive, I promise you that.
Well, either Watto is using an older-than-dirt sales tactic, or Qui-Gon can really pick out which shop to go to randomly. Oh, wait. I guess midichlorians told him where to go so that he could find the boy. It was destiny or something. Hey, here's another idea. Why don't you trade the Naboo cruiser for a less fancy but functional ship? Or maybe hire a transport. Pay them all the money you have now and then promise more when you get to Coruscant. Sound familiar? Someone who's like a transport ship captain or a smuggler would have use for Republic credits, because they travel around the galaxy. Probably go to other spaceports. You know, makes sense. But instead of using like the most common sense approach to everything, Qui-Gon concocts some kind of convoluted scheme so that we could get to the pod race. I honestly still don't understand it.
My ship will be the entry fee.
What would the boy ride? He smashed up my pod in the last race.
Well, I have acquired a pod in a game of chance.
So, you supply the pod, the entry fee.
If it's going to be 50-50, I suggest you front the cash for the entry.
I supply the boy. We split the winnings 50-50, I think, huh?
You keep all the winnings minus the cost of the parts in the end.
So, you supply the pod.
We lose. You keep my ship.
Who was betting what? Then it gets more complicated later, when the bet changes.
I'll take that bet. I'll wager my new racing pod against, say,
Well,
the boy and his mother.
your pod is worth 2 slaves.
The boy then.
So Anakin built the pod, but Watto didn't know that he built the pod, so that he raced with Watto's pod. So then Anakin tells if Watto wins, Anakin tells Qui-Gon to pretend that it's his pod. And Watto says, I'm gonna put up the entry fee if you let me use your pod. If they win, then the boy they get the money for the part, but if they lose, then Watto keeps the pod and the boy. Qui-Gon would have to pay back the Republic credits. Oh wait, no, he bet the ship. He bet the ship, and then if he loses the pod race, then Watto gets the ship in exchange for putting up the entry. Oh wait, no, Qui-Gon wins, then he gets the prize money. But then later on, they throw the boy actually into the deal. First it's the ship versus the pod, and the mom in the bet. So then if Watto wins, I don't know. If Qui-Gon,
I lost everything.
Whenever you gamble, my friend, eventually you lose.
Number 10, Anakin Skywalker. No one likes little kids, especially ones that can't act.
Peruska?
Cut. Let's try it again.
I'm a person, and my name is Anakin.
It's a kiss of death for your movie.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
The way they have it is that Anakin and his mom live in a comfy little hut, and if they leave, there's a bomb in their brain.
Any attempt to escape,
And they blow you up. Boom!
I think that's the worst plot device ever shoved into a movie for convenience. What purpose did Shmi Skywalker serve the that she'd cleaned her own dishes? Oh, and then let's move on to this. What about the idea that Anakin is the one who built C-3PO? Wait. Oh. This is wrong for so many reasons. I'm gonna list 3 of them. So the idea is that Anakin built C-3PO to help his mom around the house.
He's a protocol droid to help Mom.
But a protocol droid is typically used for etiquette and protocol.
I suppose you're programmed for etiquette and protocol.
They're basically like robot diplomats, not really very handy technically.
Hello, I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations.
It says his human cyborg relations. He doesn't say cleans dishes. C-3PO is clumsy, awkward, and useless, unless you need someone to translate a language.
I'm not much more than an interpreter.
Plus his arms don't even bend. What the fuck is he supposed to help the mom with? A vacuum would have been a better thing to build. Or maybe a vibrator, as it seems like the only action Shmi was getting was with the Force. Hey, maybe that's why they call it the Force. Ah, rape jokes. I love them! Also, if you're a little boy with the knack for building things with spare parts, then why would you... Seems to have been mass-produced by a manufacturing plant somewhere. Wouldn't you build some kind of unique robot from your own imagination? And to add to that, Watto already owned a protocol droid. It's laying there in the garbage dump. Why not just fix that one? Oh, we're still on this planet, are we? So Qui-Gon manages to pull off the most convoluted bet ever and somehow wins everything except for Anakin's mother. Even at the end of the movie, when they save the day and probably could get the cash to buy the mom from Watto, they don't go back for 10 years. Number 10. On to planet number 3. Is it time for death yet? Welcome to Coruscant, home of the mid-air collision. And boring scenes. So the Queen waits around for some kind of approval for something to stop her people from dying. Why are they dying? I guess they're dying though. But I didn't see anyone die. In fact, I haven't even seen any Naboo citizen at all. As far as I know, it's a city with 20 or so pilots, a couple of bureaucrats, and officials. Then the Queen gets impatient, she asks for a vote of no confidence, and then decides to go back to Naboo to fight a huge invasion force alone. Then the Jedi Council tells Qui-Gon that he cannot start training Anakin, but he does it anyways.
I'm not allowed to train you. So I want you to watch me and be mindful.
Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon both talk about how Anakin is dangerous when he's standing right there.
The boy is dangerous. They all sense it. Why can't you?
Oh god, I hope we didn't hear that. Did he heard that? So then George Lucas completely and utterly finally ruined Star Wars forever by having Qui-Gon explain that the Force is microscopic organisms.
Midichlorians are a microscopic life form that resides within all living cells.
Or that microscopic organisms in our cells tell us about the Force, or something. This entire idea and why this is in the movie is so baffling to me that I cannot even wrap my mind around it. It was never even explored or mentioned in the following 2 films. I can really only sum it up with one visual image. finally we come to the stupid ending, where again nothing makes sense. After hours of boring, passionless, inhuman, robot-like, sleep-inducing dialogue, Jar Jar Binks screams in excitement that he's going home.
We're going home! Come on, R2.
This was actually the most shocking, because at this point you forgot you were a human being. Oh, that's right, I'm still alive, and I'm watching a movie, I guess. Wait, did something happen? Continued in part 6.